got some clothes too. We're still recording, but can we go now?
Yeah.
Let's see my new shirt. You don't have to. It's yoga clothes. You're cool. Dad.
You want to start? But before we start, let me.
You want to see my clothes? Well, this is our friendship. I'm like, hey, you got to look at this, okay? And you're like, oh, God. I'm like, it's okay. Come look. All right. I'm done. I'm done.
Yes.
Done.
Yes. Shout out to Mandy for starting her yoga trapeze.
You say
practice.
trapeze. So
Trapeze.
Can't you say trapeze? Or just it has to be trapeze?
It has to be trapeze. Has to. Congratulations, though, Mandy.
Thank you.
Mandy's out here jumping
Switching the
in
script
head first and swimming in the yoga world. Yeah, like this is a new Mandy coming to you live with Code 45.
Not too new, really. It's just
it's a more.
It's
I
just
feel
letting
like,
it blossom a little.
Yeah,
more.
I was gonna say I feel like this is a happier Mandy.
It is. I fucking hated my job with like passion. Oh fuck.
Yeah, this is a newer man. I mean, a happier Mandy.
Happier.
So
Instead of me being like, I'm tired. I hate Brenda.
Yeah.
I hate Brenda. Remember that thing?
Yeah. This need that. Never mind. Never. I'll tell you later.
Okay. Yeah. No. She's. But yeah. You know. But yeah. No. That job sucked. And honestly, I still am going to do some interior design because I think I'm good at it. But I don't like the design world. It's full of corn cob up the ass white women who are just stupid and racist and annoying and elitist.
That visual is hilarious.
It's true. Elitist. Ugh. I never fit in. Didn't like it. 2 thumbs down.
I got you.
Okay. Yeah. Yep. And Marcus got a new job.
Indeed. We out here.
Yep.
In
these Christian streets.
Yeah. And
not me.
Me and Mandy are following our dreams and taking part in our passions. So
yes.
This is a great time. I don't know about y'all, but 2020 has been great. There's been some hiccups, but I mean, hey,
2020 is tumultuous.
That is a vocab word. All right.
You haven't had any vocab words lately.
Superfluous. All right.
That has nothing about what we're talking about.
But I just want to, if we're throwing out words, let's throw words out.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, it has been like, there's been shitty stuff going on, right? But there's also been a chance to reinvent and live our truth a little bit more, if you take those opportunities. I feel like they're there. You just have to find them and grab on, even if it's hard, because doing yoga teacher training with 2 small children, awful. And now I'm doing it again for like 2 months because I'm insane. So but you know what, figure it out.
Taking online classes while you're lazy I'm not lazy, but I'm a procrastinator.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, it is difficult.
Mm-hmm.
But we out here in these streets following passions, all right?
That's right.
And we encourage you to do the same. If you don't know,
and we're still here following this passion.
Yes, and if you don't know what here is, welcome to Unapologetically Human, the only and best way to be human. I mean, honestly,
true.
I can't be nothing but
unapologetic. Did he create you to be unapologetic?
Like, yeah, I'm not gonna apologize for being Christian or black or hungry or liking food or anything.
Who wants to win a sticker?
I'm not. No sticker giveaways. None. No sticker giveaways.
Our favorite listener, Joe?
Yeah.
He came by to get, Jason had photo flood masks made. So they all have his logo on them. And Joe's like, he was texting me, he's like, hey, can I get a You Human sticker? And I was like, yes, of course. Since we already supposed to give him one, it just never happened. So he was really happy. And then I had a picture that I had posted, and on Facebook he said, "Hey, this looks a lot like this crazy outspoken podcast lady I know." I was like, all right, at least you are my friend.
Weak.
I was like, okay. It was supposed to be pretty, but sure, that's fine too. He thinks I'm
He could
crazy.
have said so many other things. I bet that's what he said.
No, that's what he said. He's like, look, looks like that
Moderately.
crazy outspoken podcast lady, but he loves our podcast. And he, you know, Joe, thank you.
Yeah, I appreciate it, Joe. You are doing great things for the community. All right. Appreciate it.
You're an idiot.
Yeah. Guys, before we jump in here, I just want to let you guys know that this episode is brought to you by Greenwood District. All right. If you don't already know who Greenwood District is or what it is, well, let me tell you. Greenwood District is a Black-owned clothing brand that is taking the issues and the ills and the wills, my brother, of the societies.
He's a preacher. He's a Black preacher now.
Taking them and turning them into a message and turning them into great style. All right. So please hit up greenwooddistrict.com. That's Greenwood. That is one word. District. That's still one word.com. All of that is together because it's a URL. All right. Let's be smart, guys. All right. So type that into your search bar, greenwooddistrict.com. Pick whatever you want. All right. It don't matter. Whatever shirt you want, whatever bracelet, hat, headband, pants, booty shorts, whatever you want. They don't got booty shorts. But if they did have booty shorts, you can still pick the booty shorts. And when you pick the booty shorts, I want you to go to checkout. And at checkout, you're going to use code UHUMAN. All right. That is the letter U and then the word human. And that's all one word. All right. Ain't no spaces, ain't no laces. All one word. All right. So again, greenwooddistrict.com, and make sure you use code UHUMAN, the letter U, human, at checkout. All right. Thank you. Again. One more time again. All right.
Good job.
Mandy, what kind of facts you got for us today? If y'all don't know already, Mandy has all of the facts. All right. Mandy does all the research. Only time I have facts is when we do conspiracy theory episodes.
Yeah, and they're usually not necessarily true because they're conspiracies. Right? You're frozen.
Hey, man.
Hey, man. You're like, but I found it on the internet, so it's true.
It's true.
Oh, yeah, sexual assault in the military. That's not funny. I'm just laughing at Marcus's face. Okay, so I'm just going to give you the definition. So sexual assault is recognized as a crime in the United States military and is generally defined as sexual contact or acts upon a person or persons who did not or could not legitimately consent. So that can be many things. It can be everything from a statement, like a harassing statement, all the way to rape, to everything in between. Okay. So the U.S. Army defines it as sexual assault is a crime defined as intentional sexual contact characterized by use of force, physical threat, or abuse of authority, or when the victim does not or cannot consent. So, and it lists all kinds of things, right? Fondling, all kinds of things. So here's some other facts. Okay, this is a fact from 2018. So they do these little, I don't know what they are exactly, but it's some sort of studies that they do, and they combine all this data. So this one's from 2018, and there's some stats from 2019. So just for reference, okay, 2018, 20,500 service members were sexually assaulted or raped. 13,000 women and 7,500 men, which that's a little surprising. I thought it would be like 75% women, but you know,
huge gap between the two.
Yeah. The rate of sexual assault and rape jumped almost 40% from 2016 to 2018. So for women, the rate increased over 50%. And the highest level was in 2006 compared to now. Now it's like the highest.
Wait, did you say 2014 to 2016?
No, that was 2016 to 2018. So 2 years, it increased 40%.
I have a guess as to why, but continue.
You want to guess? You can.
I mean, Donald Trump is president, and in the highest office, there is literally somebody who boasts about wanting to have sex with his daughter, pretty much.
You mean
And
grab him by the pussy?
no. I mean, literally talking about having sex with his daughter, and that.
Yeah.
But he makes many comments about having sex with his daughter.
Yeah,
He makes,
I've never heard that. I'm not saying that's not true. Like I 150% believe it's true, but why would you do that? I mean,
I
why
don't
would he
know.
do everything he does? But
That's gonna be. I'm gonna post that later tonight. Like just the
okay.
kind of stuff the remarks he makes to his daughter. Guys, make sure you hit us up on all of our social medias because we be out here. But yeah,
That's disgusting. I mean, what the fuck?
yeah.
Where does the thought even come from? Like I don't know. Anyway, and it's from the dump where he's from. So.
From the dump.
From the dump. Straight from the dump.
From the dump. Got you. Okay. I'm sorry. That's funny as a mug.
Oh, that's why we do this. Okay. Okay. So, of the women who reported sexual assault, 59% were assaulted by somebody with a higher rank than them. 24 were assaulted by somebody in their own chain of command. So it's mainly people using their abusing their power again,
Yeah.
and preying upon people that are newer in the chain of command. Okay. This is another 2018 stat. 76.1% of victims did not report it. Did not. And there's many reasons why, but that's a staggering amount of people. Like, what is that? That's 33.9% are the only ones that did that, reported it. That's a problem.
Huge problem.
But you know why they don't report it. I mean, you can talk on that, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Sure, you just know.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about it or no? Why we're here, Marcus, we talk. He's like,
I mean,
yep, just looking at me.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
go ahead,
I knew I was
keep
like,
talking.
No, yeah. I mean, they, as you have already said, people have already overstepped their boundaries. People have already
I'm so annoyed by this light. I'm listening to everything you're saying.
People have already overstepped their boundaries and in terms of their power and use their power to do these acts already. So then when the people who, because these would be the people that are would pretty much reprimand anybody for doing something. So when it's that person that's did it to you, you really have nowhere to go, and and then you have to deal with the fact that people might not even believe you because it's somebody who is a higher up or whatever. They're like, oh, they would never do that. They were never. I don't put nothing past nobody. Everybody's always one decision away from ruining their life. So I'm gonna look into it. That's
well, it says 64% of women who reported a sexual assault faced retaliation. That's a shit ton of people. So I mean, they're scared they're going to get fired. They're scared they're going to get discharged with I don't know what all of the terminology is, but you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Even if the person, the higher up or whatever, gets caught and is expunged of in terms of his whole everything, the people in her command in her ranking and under, the harassment could ensue there with the people around her. Oh, you got him fired or stuff like that. People are trash. So they're not even worried about her well-being as far as dang, you were sexually assaulted. No, they're like, oh, you got our commander officer fired or whatever.
Yeah. Okay, here's something. This one chick said, today I bent over to get something. I didn't know there was anybody behind me. This is a female junior who was enlisted in the Marines, and she was talking to one of these focus groups. She said, I bent over to grab something really quick, and a sergeant is behind me. He said, oh, don't tempt me. That reminds me of people at Stash.
No, actually, yeah.
Yeah, I got that a multitude of times. I was like, excuse me? Or bending over and, one of the people who's the boss whistling. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm not comparing my situations to any of these. I'm just saying shit happens and it's obnoxious. One junior enlisted female Marine told the group, when I first got here, all the people in my shop lived on the third deck and I got put on the first deck. And when I asked why, they said, because if you live on the first or third deck, you're going to get raped.
Wow.
Yeah. So, I mean, thank God she got placed on a different tier, obviously. But like, yeah, if you're on the third deck, it's just going to happen. So she got placed on the first. But that's insane. Overall, the annual report.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's fucking crazy. There's a 3%. Wait, hold on. Sexual reports were up 3% in 2019. I think it's more than that. Yeah, I would say so. Okay, I'm going back to the facts. Okay. A third of victims were discharged after reporting their sexual assault within 7 months of making the report. So that's ignorant. Victims received harsher discharges, 24% separated under loss than fully honorable conditions, compared to 15% of all service members. Okay, so here we go. When you do report it to the powers that be in the military, for example, in 2019, of 5,699 reports of sexual assault, only 363 of those cases were tried by court martials, but only 138, which is 2.4% of these cases, the offenders were convicted. So, I mean, if I was in there too, I'd be like, I'm not going to win. So I'm going to get discharged, not honorably. And if I stay and they don't discharge me, I'm going to be completely harassed on different levels, or maybe sexually again, but people are going to be like, you suck, like, you know, like you were saying. And I mean, nothing's going to happen anyway. You're just going to cause problems for yourself, which that's not fair. That's so ridiculous.
It's like a rock and a hard place. Which part do you choose to deal with? Right. Yeah.
So anyway, I've got tons of little stats, but these all came from, it's the protectourdefenders.com, which it was pretty cool. They have this whole thing about facts. What else? Okay. So you and I talked a little bit before this started about, I mean, we just mentioned Fort Hood. So it's been in the news a lot lately, the whole situation there. So Fort Hood is in Texas, if we didn't know, located near the Leon River. So what's interesting about this is, gosh, I don't know how long ago it was, maybe a month ago, maybe 3 weeks ago, I was listening to one of my favorite podcasts, The Murder Squad, with Paul Holes, and Billy Jensen. And they did a whole episode on different murders and sexual assaults in the military, or just sexual assaults that could have led to murders, right? So this is what they say. On Tuesday, June 30th, the remains of this person we're going to talk about were located near the Leon River in Texas, about 20 miles east of Fort Hood. According to reports, the remains had been encased in cement. On Wednesday, a suspect was located. After leaving the base, Aaron Robinson killed himself. Law enforcement also located another suspect, Cicely Aguilera, the estranged wife of another soldier from Fort Hood. Okay, that like group doesn't make sense to me. Unless maybe, like, why would, there's this dude, Aaron Robinson, right? And I'm pretty sure, I'm going to get to more of it, but I'm pretty sure he was her sergeant and supervisor. So supposedly they're saying that he killed this chick, Vanessa, who we're going to talk more about, but that this woman, Cecily, is an estranged wife of another soldier from there, and that she helped him. So I don't know how the connection, like, I get they're probably still investigating that, but I don't know that connection. Yeah. So anyway, according to attorney of the family, Robinson killed Vanessa on the base. He bludgeoned her with a hammer in the armory. He then came back several hours later, removed her body, put it in a pelican case. Do you know what a pelican case is?
Isn't that something for a camera?
Yeah, Jason said that's what got stolen from our house. But yeah, they're you can literally throw them from like a plane, and that's why they use them in the military, because you can't hurt them. So I don't know what size a pelican case this was, but it sounds awful.
Yeah.
Robinson and Cecily burned, dismembered, and put the remains in cement. They then buried the remains in 3 separate holes. So Vanessa's family are calling for a change in the way the military handles sexual harassment and assault. Based on the descriptions Vanessa provided of her harasser, it might not have been Robinson, but she described him as a sergeant and a supervisor. So anyway, they say because of the failure in the system, Vanessa was afraid to report her sexual harassment. Her family is pushing for Congress to investigate. But so I guess her name's Vanessa. The investigation's still going on, but people are like, the military is denying that there was ever like a sexual harassment or assault going on, and that it's not connected with her remains being found. But it even said that her sister told them that Vanessa had been talking to her mom that she was being sexually harassed. So there's all these things, like she didn't report anything, but she was saying something to her family members, and then she ends up missing, and then finally dead. So the murder squad tells this story, and then literally 3 days after they tell the story about her remains are found, which is really weird.
Wow.
So I don't know if somebody just listened to it and then had the information, because that's what they ask for on that show is, hey, if you guys know anything about these situations, these murders, these missing people, whatever, report them, right? So I don't know what happened, but it's pretty insane. Her family really and advocates call for an epidemic of sexual violence in the armed services to stop. They say that this maybe is the first time that military men and women have felt empowered to speak out, and a lot of people are using the hashtag I am Vanessa Gillian. So it's really sad. The fear of retaliation has silenced too many survivors, and I think this could be a potential sea change that breaks down the resistance of generals and admirals who want to continue with status quo. So anyway, you want to hear a little bit about Vanessa?
Yeah.
Okay, she's only 20 years old. A Houston native, African-American, went missing in April near the Fort Hood, Texas military base. And so she went missing in April. Her remains were found in June 30th. So it's just a weird, isn't that a weird situation? I mean, they have this episode, and she's been missing for months, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, there it is.
Yeah.
I don't know. Federal and military investigators said she was killed and dismembered by a fellow soldier who took his own life last week. And then that Cecily chick, she's only 22. I don't know what the fuck she was doing. She's a civilian. She was arrested and charged with allegedly helping to hide the body. And so the family, like I said, they are saying that she was sexually harassed by a superior, but the Army's, they're doing damage control. They're saying that didn't happen, pretty much. Or the Army. She's in the Army.
Yeah.
They said there is no credible evidence that she was sexually harassed.
I mean, I don't get, like, I don't get how they couldn't see it, like how they wouldn't be able to understand the connection between it,
right?
And then like if they do see it, I don't get like why they wouldn't like say or do something about it, because it's not like a business where like, okay, something happens and they're like, oh snap, we're gonna stop like shopping at this store or something like that. Like, it's the Army. So if something happens, they should be like, yo, this happened. These are the changes we're making.
Right.
Like, and then not only that, I feel like there should be like some type of like outside entity that can like look into these matters without any type of biases.
Right.
Like there should be like almost like internal affairs will go into a police station or whatever, like there needs to be like something where they go in and like really like look at everything without biases. There's no like,
Right.
oh man, like I went through school with this, I went like there's like none of that. It's just
So
like
no
wrong is wrong.
military connection, somebody who's not
Yeah.
in the military, because I feel like if you're in the military or you're in the any form of the military, you've got this weird like
Yeah.
brotherhood or sisterhood, or it's fine, whatever. I've never been in it, so I can't speak to that. But you've
Wrong
got to
is
have somebody
wrong.
with a different,
Yeah.
like no connection to that. Yeah, you're right. Well, but did you hear? We've probably talked about this before, on Small Town Dicks, one of my other favorite podcasts, which you love hearing about. They're on hiatus right now, and it's sad. But anyway, the two detectives on there talked a lot about how even in the law enforcement, they didn't feel like, and they know tons of people who feel like they cannot report if they're having issues with something that's happened with a case, if they're having a hard time just working through something that they've seen or that they've been through. They said they do not go to anybody because it's used against them. So it's the same kind of mentality in all of these structures. I feel like you don't feel like you can get help because you're going to be judged and you're going to be persecuted.
Yeah.
Which is bullshit.
I can see that.
So I don't know what the solution is, but yeah, something has to change, obviously.
Yeah.
Asshole people in the military sexually assaulting women,
yeah,
and men, more women than men. Not trying to say that's not important. Yeah, and that there's nothing that can be done until they fix the problem. They shouldn't put a Band-Aid over this. They need to fix the problem.
Yeah, so let's talk about that then. Like, and so many times, even just as just people,
yeah,
instead of like dealing with problems, we put a Band-Aid over it. We just kind of like just try to brush it over.
You treat the
so
symptom,
like,
not the what's it called? Like you treat all your symptoms, but you're not really getting a cure.
Yeah. So like, what do you think? I know we just talked about like having an outside entity going in and looking in, but like what else? Because like this has been going on for like ever. Years, and then not even just in the military, but like in every form of work, whether it be from somebody working in like the fast food industry, and shout out to you if you do, to like working in the White House and everywhere in between. Women are sexually assaulted, women are harassed, and people just view like not people. Or actually, I gotta include women in this as well, because women take part in it as well. Not the person being assaulted, but women assaulting other people, and then women like not. So like with everything, like with like the whole like Trump administration, like Trump supporters, I've heard women like talk about and like basically go at women who have been sexually assaulted, and like call them hoes and like call them all types of stuff out of their name. So people in general don't really like, they don't see it. They don't. I don't know, like how can you make people see it? Like, because this is very blatant. Like somebody was burned, killed, burned, dismembered, and then like disposed of in 3 different holes. Like
in cement. Like that's a plan.
That's not no regular. That's some army. That's some military stuff.
That's like some crazy shit right there.
Yeah, that's not just regular. Niggas ain't out here just buying cement,
dumping it in 3 different holes.
Nobody just has enough cement to fill 3 different holes. So it's like, what can be done outside of like having conversations and like really like, you know, like what are things that you think could be done?
Well, one thing that people need to do is stop judging so much, I think, and try and be a little bit more supportive of one another. I think in general, like on all topics probably. But the whole thing of like victim blaming, like what is that about? You know what I mean? Yeah. Like it's just adding like fuel to the fire, you know? And it's kind of like, yeah, I just think like the victim blaming is such a big problem. And I just don't know. I mean, I don't really know how to change people's minds, because look at this, like, look at the Black Lives Matter situation and like all the protests and whatever. It took for something insane to happen, but that's probably happened before. I mean, that, and even, I'm not going to say worse because it's horrible, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And now all of a sudden people are finally on the bandwagon, but it's like, is that going to stick? How long is that going to last? So I don't really know. Something like dramatic has to, I think this is dramatic, but I mean, maybe this will be the catalyst, because people are, like I said, they're starting the kind of the Me Too movement of military sexual assault. They have a couple hashtags. I am Vanessa Gilliam. Me Too movement, military. Oh, military hasn't had their Me Too movement yet. And so they think that maybe this is going to be something that, if we can all band together and, you know, people start telling their stories, maybe it'll almost force something to happen. If all these people start to feel comfortable telling their stories, you know how many there's going to be? Thousands and thousands. So
I think, my bad. Was that?
No, that's it.
Okay.
For now.
I think that a good place to start would be like with we just talked about like how like Donald Trump be like making comments and stuff like that. I think you have to kind of start with those people, like people that are in like much higher positions, and reprimanding them, and like starting at the top and going down.
But okay, the problem with that is he's already been impeached. Like, they tried to get him out, and he can literally like do anything, and they're not gonna get him out. So I just don't know how they can really do that, even with, I mean, he doesn't give a fuck, and nobody is holding him accountable. Nobody. He's running again, and please God, don't let it happen, but he could win again. So it's people like that feel that they're above the law and that they don't have to follow anything. No, they're like, there's no rules that apply to me. I am the president. I can say and do and feel and whatever I want. I mean, he never even fucking wore a mask until like hundreds and thousands of people died. And then he's like, oh, I might be losing votes right now, so I'll put a mask on.
Did you know, this is just a side note.
Yeah.
So John Lewis just passed.
Yep.
Black congressman, rest in peace, John Lewis. A prolific man when it comes to,
You know this. I know what you're gonna talk about.
When it comes to just speaking up about issues, especially Black issues. Just a very vocal man. And so John Lewis just passed.
Yep.
Every politician knows who John Lewis is. Trump, they asked him if he was gonna go to his to John Lewis's like memorial services and everything. He was just like, nah, I'm not going.
Yeah, I know. Asshole. Fuck you.
Like, again, I feel like we always end up back on this conversation of how angry we are with everything. But like, yo, there's literally there's women who are getting assaulted, being killed, and
while defending our country, which he supposedly is like, hail USA.
Not even just him. Like his supporters.
Yes.
People that they're always talking about, like, these are our officers, these are our Marines, these are our, like, y'all. Honestly, people do not care about people like the Army, the Marines, they don't, because people come back from being over in these other countries fighting for, risking their lives fighting for us, and they come back over here and we give them crap.
Yeah, do you know how many vets are homeless and no one cares? Then they're like, get the homeless off the street. What? Well, could you help somebody out?
And then that's the thing, like, then you have like Republicans who talk about like, we don't need like these type of services for people. We don't need like, oh, you're a socialist if you want to have these type of services and stuff like that. And it's like, yo, literally, like, it could happen to you at any moment. And if you were in that position, this is the kind of help you would want. So to women who are like speaking about women being sexually assaulted and being like, oh, well, they wore this and that, so they asked for it.
Yes.
Nobody, just because you wear something doesn't mean that you should. There's nothing that makes rape okay. Sexual assault, nothing. There's no matter what they wear, no matter occupation, no matter, like, nothing makes rape okay ever at all. So, like, and God forbid, I don't want it to happen to somebody that's like going at women that have died, or women that have come out and say like Me Too. Like, I don't want it to happen to those women that are attacking the other women, but it could happen to them at any moment.
Right.
And then they would flip the script, and their truth would be something different, because now they see somebody else's perspective. Right. They're in somebody else's shoes, and so now they want all this help and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. But where were they before? You know.
Right. Mm-hmm. And you want to be like, and I'm fed up. I am. I don't know what to say.
I know.
It's difficult.
It's in so many categories, like not even just what we're talking about. It is just all over the place, and it's a conundrum.
It is.
Vocab.
When stepping back from sexual assault and just going to harassment in general, like, it's thinking about like working at Stash and stuff like that, and words or comments, things like that were said to you, things that were said to me, like, it's crazy, because like it wasn't like, okay, some of the stuff that was like said or done was definitely by, you know, people that were like on the same level as you, at least.
Yeah, just like joking.
And then some people, yeah. Like, it's sad that you don't even kind of like don't know what to do in those moments.
Right.
Speaking from like things that have been said and done when I was working there, and the only reason we're using this example is just because this is where we both were, we could agree, and we've seen each other's experiences.
Right.
Like, in my experiences, like when things were said or done, like that time that lady like made, you remember when I was helping the lady stuff, and helping take the lady stuff to her car, and then she was like, "Oh, I should take you here. Like, you wouldn't know what to do out here," and stuff like that. You remember that?
Ooh, I think so. Yeah. All that
And
kind
so
of stuff just always pissed me off.
Yeah, like you don't know what to do in them like scenarios and situations. So then you do nothing. So then nothing changes. But like, what would happen if that time, I'm not even gonna put no name, but one of the times like you were, you know, whistled at, or you were never groped, correct?
No.
I'm trying to think of something happened where I was like pissed. I can't remember what it was. I'm pretty sure I know who it had to do with.
Oh, you said that they were like just like staring at my ass, like watching. You were
Is that what it was?
I think so. Maybe. There were a couple incidences, so I'm not completely sure, but you were like, you're like, I was standing here watching, and like he just followed like you all around this room.
And people like they took them things as like jokes and stuff like that, but like it's inappropriate.
Yeah. Well, okay. And when I would tell other people about it, you know, some other people in management, they were like, well, that doesn't surprise me. He's just a perv. Like, he cheats on his wife. Oh, why is that his excuse? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it didn't get me to the point where I was like, oh, I need to report him. But it is kind of strange and uncomfortable. You know what I mean? Oh, and I remember like one time I was in there and he was like, oh, you're looking good. Like, blah, blah, blah. Like shit like that, you know?
Yeah.
It's like, there's a way to say like, oh, you look nice today. And like, looking good, and whistling and all that shit.
Yeah, because the reason it's important to think about these instances is because nobody ever just wakes up and just goes and grabs a titty or something like that. Like that people don't just wake up and just rape somebody. It starts, it's like small things, like even with anything else, with like say gluttony. Somebody wakes up one day and they have a piece of candy. Next day they have 3 pieces. Next day they got 9. Next day they're big as a bus, and only thing they're eating is candy and biscuits. It's like a gradual process of getting worse and worse and worse. Just like the countries are, the stage our countries in, like it's just a gradual process of things happening, things being said, things leading up, and now look, like the country's more divided than ever.
Can I give you an example of something that I completely forgot about until right now that I meant to tell you about before, and I just didn't. So this was last Saturday. And I actually was texting with you, but then this happened, and then I told Jason, like, over text, but okay. So I was in the park, and I had just done a class with a client. So after classes that are really early, I usually stay for like 30 minutes to an hour so that I can get my own practice in, right? So there's this building that was pretty far back. I mean, you can see people in it, but it was not where I can see somebody's features all fully, right? So I'm hanging upside down a lot because that was the part where I was working on some inversions. And I see somebody directly behind me, but back in that building, right? Mm-hmm. They have a mask on. I couldn't see any distinguishable features, but it looks like after a while of me doing some of my stuff that they were jerking off while they were watching me.
I knew he was about to say that.
Well, and staring at me, right? Yeah. And so I was like, okay, is this person jerking off back here? And I was like, what the fuck? And so they just wouldn't stop staring at me. So I told Jason, I was like, maybe they're scratching their stomach. And he's like, why would anyone do that? And I was like, I don't know. Like, he's like, you need to call the police. And I'm just texting him. And I was like, I'm not going to call the police because, one, I don't want to say that someone's doing something that I'm not 100% they're doing. But it was creepy because they sat over there watching me the entire time and then looked as if they were doing something, right? And so then I started getting a little uncomfortable, and I was actually going to go into my like relaxation position, but I felt like somebody could come up behind me. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna call this a day. But then I have to take down this whole system, and it takes me like 15 minutes, and then I have to haul it all in my car. And I was kind of getting a little freaked out after a while. I was like, yeah. And so Jason's like, Mandy, you should have called the police. And he's like, because this escalates. And because you listen to true crime, he's like, they could watch you and jerk off. The next time they might grope somebody. The next time they might rape somebody. And I was like, don't victim blame me. So then I felt like I was being victim blamed because I was just trying to do yoga. That's all I was doing. It's not like I was like doing a dance. You know what I'm saying? Like I was doing yoga. And I mean, it was just weird. But what is your thought? You looked angry. It's not funny at all. It's just
people are just disgusting. Mm-hmm. Disgusting. Like I really don't. When I'm like feeling ways, I pretty much kind of like go into my shell and just I'm all thoughts at that point. There's no words. It's just thoughts.
Yep. I saw.
So I really don't have.
I saw it happen. Marcus turns his head to the side and gets a pissed look in his eyes that are usually quite jovial, right? And vocab point. And you just stop talking. I mean, it's not funny. I'm not laughing at the situation because honestly, I felt a little freaked out. Yeah. I kept just thinking they might get closer and closer and closer. And I was like, I can't leave. I have a giant yoga trapeze stand I have to take apart. And I was parked right there, so it's fine. But yeah, it's not fair that you have to feel like that. Like, I'm in a park. Why can't I just like do a workout? You know what I'm saying?
You should never feel like you can't just live. Right. And that's the thing that so many women deal with every day. Like that they just can't be. Like they just can't go to the park. They just can't go to the gas station. They can't just go here and there. Like it's horrible. You just can't have an Instagram like because you got dudes like just like coming at them in the DMs, coming at them in the comments, mad disrespectful and stuff like that. So then you got this like you have almost like this a woman, you build like this tolerance of like all guys are just like trash bags and are disgusting.
Right. I mean, I could tell you tons and tons of different examples of going somewhere and somebody being obnoxious. I remember I was even holding Ellison one time at the park, and I had Harper, and he was playing, and then this guy was in like this group, and then he just started talking to me, and I think I told you about it when it happened, and this is a long time ago though, and pretty much was trying to in his own way get me to go home with him. I'm like, number one, no. But number two, I have my children. He did not care. Didn't care. It was kind of like, bring him along. I'm like, what the fuck? And just wouldn't like take no for an answer for quite a while. Just kept at it. And I was like, I have to go. I've got my kids. I'm going home. But it's like, I'm trying to play at a playground with my two small children. Why are you here? You know what I mean? It's like,
I had a dream. Okay, so guys, y'all don't know. I've talked about summer camp before. So like at the dance studio, we're having a summer camp, and then it's not like a bunch of kids, maybe like 15.
Yeah.
Just because of the whole thing going on right now. So
pandemic.
So there's a young boy. He's like, he might be like 6.
Okay.
I believe he's in like first grade or something like that. So I'm not gonna use his name. But I had a dream that I legitimately was about to fight this young man. This is a first grader. I was about to lay hands on a first grader because he sat there. So we were in my dream, we were all sitting down at a table, and he sat behind. I got to give you some backstory actually first. This young man, there's no discretion as to if he likes girls or not.
Yeah.
there's no thought. He likes older girls a lot. All right.
Okay.
So I'm constantly telling him, yo, give people their personal space, back up off them, stop. Like, and I'm telling the young ladies, hey, if he gets in your face or if anybody tell him to back up off you. You can tell people to move. You can tell people, give me we had a full conversation on personal space. One, because it was in my personal space, but two,
kids don't understand personal space.
Kids don't understand it. But two, I was telling them, like, me and Erica were telling them, like, yo, if somebody's in your personal space, whether it's here, whether it's outside in the real, wherever you're at, tell people to get out your face. Like, there's no reason somebody needs to be right here all the time like that. And so I'm constantly like, yo, and he's gotten better, telling him like, yo, stop, move, or whatever. But I had a dream that he sat in a chair behind one of the girls at the studio. And so this is one of the girls that I call my daughter. Yeah. And so you basically have sat behind my child in a chair, and I'm finna get ready to hem you up. So like she's sitting in the chair, and he just like slides in behind her, and he's like sitting behind her. And I was like, I walked over to her, Carson, boy, if you don't get, I just went in, grabbed him by his shoulders, picked him up, and like sat him down, like on his feet. I ain't sitting him down. I'm not gonna fight somebody that's sitting. I stood him on his feet, and I'm going off on him, tearing into him. Who do you, boy, personal space, la, 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 la. And he's like, what you gonna do, Mr. Marcus? What? I was about to lay hand. This is a dream. Just so y'all know, this is a dream. I told Erica this. She was cracking up. She was like, we know what we have to look out for now. But I was about to lay hands on this child. All right. Y'all, we have to teach our sons to respect women. Yes. Society is not holding men to a proper standard.
No.
It has to be in the home.
It does. And this is one thing. Little boys, because I've got 2.
Little boys are filth.
When you said there's no doubt that this little boy likes girls, Ellison, Okay, so I was at
Yep.
Trader Joe's with this child, right?
Yeah.
I'm holding him because he's still so little, and I have on this like bodysuit. So there's no bra happening because I have a bodysuit on, right? He went like this twice to my shirt. And for nobody that's watching and just listening, he flashed my boobage to Trader Joe's, all of Trader Joe's, twice. Oh, the first time I said, stop it now. I was like, you don't do that. Did it again. I said, listen to me. I was like, we do not do that. That is disrespectful to mommy. It's disrespectful to women. You don't do things like that. I'm sorry, mommy. And then gets upset. But he's 4. It's what it is what it is. Harper went through a weird boob situation. And now he's fine.
The
but,
boob boys.
Yeah, boob boys. But they grow out of it, but you have to hold kids accountable too when they're little because they have to learn small. That's not appropriate. You don't touch mommy there. You don't expose mommy to people. There have to be parameters set really young so that they know how you're supposed to act as you get older, because you're going to deal with it as a mom. It's just what it is. But nip it in the bud. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Because I didn't really love being flashed at Trader Joe's, but it is what it is.
You have to stop it there, right then and there, when they are young. You have to stop it.
Yeah.
Not only that, like, I don't think we take seriously enough the things that pornography does to the mind, right?
Yep.
So as we're talking about this, I immediately thought of some things that I have seen before that echoed the situation of Vanessa's situation and being sexually assaulted and being in the army. There's literally a video that I remember, and I'm like
a pornography video?
Yeah.
So like playing on it as like this is
playing
a
on it, yeah. So like one, it does that. It paints these pictures and makes these like fantasy type, these power fantasies where like, oh, he or she is in a power position and they make this go at somebody who's up under them. But then also just when we were talking about the changes in the levels of things and like it's a escalation. Gradual thing. Yeah. Like a lot of these things start with like pornography and then it develops into these thoughts of like these like inappropriate thoughts towards women and just like looking at women and all you see is sex because that's all you see in pornography is that's what it is. And so you're filling your mind with all of this stuff all the time. And then those become your thoughts. And then your thoughts become your actions. And your actions become someone else's trauma.
Right. That's a great way you just said that.
And so like those are the types of things that we have to deal with. We have to like nip it in the bud as a society. When it happens, we have to stop it. And when they're little, we have to stop it. We have to teach our boys to respect women. Right. Not respect people in general.
Right.
Because I feel like there's a huge respect gap. But
sure, absolutely.
We need to, when there is a group that is being marginalized, we need to say something about that group. We need to teach our boys to respect women. Yep. Right. And then
starting with their mom.
Starting.
It does. It starts with the mama.
Yes.
Because that is your first encounter with anything about like women's bodies and everything. It's just about like, hey, let's put some boundaries, right?
Yes. Going from there, we have to take seriously the things we think, the things we I always refer to my diet as not just being like what I'm eating, but what I'm listening to, what I'm watching, of course what I'm eating, what I'm doing. Like your diet consists of everything that goes in and out of your body, in and out of your mind. Like we have to take seriously the things that we are ingesting into us.
Right.
Because they change our thoughts, they change our actions and stuff like that.
Absolutely.
Take porn seriously. That stuff is dangerous. That's what I want people to think about. That stuff is dangerous. And it is a big reason why a lot of this stuff is happening.
Right. Well, it's a lot of like fantasies
Yeah.
become people's realities, but they're really still a fantasy that they are making into a reality. Like you said, that's creating trauma for other people. And that's where a lot of this crazy sexual assault that, like, think of the Golden State Killer. I know I've told you about it before. He just got arrested and found like 2 years ago. And this was like back in the 70s and 80s. He did all this. Went from peeping at people, right? Then started breaking into people's homes, getting familiar with the dog, getting familiar with their surroundings, moving things around, knowing how these people lived, hiding in the house, watching people. Then it started to formulate into rape. Then it went to murder. You know, it's like this does escalate, not with everyone, but it can happen. And if you don't, and this person too, he used to be a police officer, so he knew. He worked with burglary unit. He knew how to do it. And that working in that unit, and he sees what's happening. He's like, I can do that. And I know how to perfect it. So that became his fantasy. And it's the weirdest shit. You've got to nip this crazy ass behavior in the bud. You just have to.
Yes, indeed.
Yep.
And then I had one last thought.
Okay.
So yes, nip it in the bud, teach our boys to respect women. Take seriously what you're ingesting into your diet and into your body. Dang. You just were talking about the Golden State Killer.
Yep.
And
how his fantasies became his reality.
Yeah.
That's Marcus's thinking sound.
Just got it. Yo, guys, self-control. Freaking self-control. Self-control is one of the fruits of the spirit. All right. Y'all need to work on self-control. I remember I was talking to somebody and they were like, man, like I don't they were saying like they were saying, Marcus, I don't know how you do something. I forgot what it was. It's probably like how I'm waiting for marriage or something. I don't know how you do it. And I was like, bro, self-control, literally. If you can control your like appetite, like what you literally, if you can control like what you eat and stuff like that, like if you can control your mind when it comes to food and stuff like that, or you can control your mind when it comes to like sex and things like that, you can do anything. Literally, self-control is so important. Like that's why like fasting sucked at first. When I first, oh my gosh, I wanted everything immediately. My mind was just like, oh my nigga, I need a chicken nugget. And I was like, I can't, I'm fasting, I can't. But afterwards, I felt so much more empowered because I was able to like make a decision and stick to self-freaking control. Stop letting your desires just run rampant and just, I got it right now. No means no. First off, right? Back in the day, if whatever you did, you got that type of punishment. So if you stole, they would cut your hand off. Imagine if you raped somebody.
Watch out, guys.
You would be castrated. All right.
Thanks.
I need you to think about things like that.
Back in the day.
Control. Practice it. Learn it. Make it a part of your vocabulary and your daily thought. Y'all need to control yourself.
Learn it. Live it.
Please. Because y'all suck. Suck. Trash on the self-control tip.
Yep.
All right.
All right. Good. Well, we're wrapping that up now. That's all we got to say. That everybody sucks. No.
Yeah, man. So, guys, with that being said, thank you for tuning in to another episode of Unapologetically Human. Remember to subscribe on our website, www.uhumanpodcast.com. All right, that's the letter uhumanpodcast.com. That's our website. Everything is there, from our social medias to even the Greenwood District link is there. All right. And again, that checkout code, that discount code is UHuman. The letter U, human. Use it at checkout. All right. Usually I go in and be like, oh, you know, it's the socials. It's all there. It's all on the website. uhumanpodcast.com. YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. Everything is there. Visit uhumanpodcast.com. and subscribe to be kept up with all of our updates about our episodes. Be kept up to date with our blog and merch. Everything You Human is there.
Merch is coming out in 2020.
Indeed. It has to.
Right. It will.
It will.
All right. Thanks for listening.
Again, thank you for listening. I am Marcus.
I am Mandy.
And we out.